individuals that face a deadly journey to get here. They face deadly terrain, miles and miles of jagged rocks, jagged mountains in scorpion, brown recluse spider, and rattlesnake territory. They face robbery, kidnapping, assault, rape, and murder by gangs and cartels.
We've been out here for half an hour to an hour and everybody's suffering. I can imagine the people that have to go the whole way to cross this whole desert.
I mean, we're only walking a few miles with 2 gallons of water, but they do a whole lot more, so it really makes it the experience really real for you.
Not political. Doesn't matter what your political stance is on immigration, how you feel about immigration. It's a human rights thing. It's keeping human beings alive.
Where do I start? I don't even know where I start. So my parents were really young when they had me. When I was born missing my right leg above the knee, and my hand was kind of deformed. This is me when I got my first leg, learning how to walk down at the Shriners Hospital. Between the time I was born to 18, I went through about 40 or 50 of these legs, because I grew and because I break them. This is kind of the story of my life. And when I was about 7 years old, I came home from school and I was playing dodgeball. And I got picked last, and I didn't understand why. And I asked everybody why I got picked last, and they said, it's because you have one leg and you suck. Well, this was actually news to me. I didn't know this. So I came home, and this goes to show a lot about my parents. They didn't treat me any different. And I come home from school, and I said, hey, Dad, what's going on? The kids told me I'm different. I don't understand. And my dad nonchalantly sat me down and said, Zach, you know, you're just gonna have to try a little harder than most of these kids. And then at that age, I started playing sports, and it was t-ball and wrestling. I didn't win a match for my first 3 years of wrestling. And my dad he was like a genius. He didn't make it about winning or losing. We had this thing, my first year, it was don't get pinned. Second year, it was not get pinned and to have them score less than 10 points. Third year, things started to change. It was not get pinned and score some of your own points. So that was a win. And then the fourth year, I won 2 matches, and then it progressed to where I was beating people all the time. So about 18, 19, I stopped playing sports because I was out of high school and I didn't really have anything to do. But then at about 21, the Shriners didn't take care of me anymore because I was an adult. I had this company make my first prosthetic leg that wasn't the Shriners. Well, my first experience wasn't the greatest. I went from playing like flag football with my friends every Sunday to literally overnight not able to do that because the leg wouldn't work very well. And the guy told me, I remember he says, that's just your activity level right now, man. And I was like, dude, this isn't right. My activity level is pretty extensive. So with somebody that's as active as me, I'm more of a challenge of a patient. You know, it's not something that's gonna be easy because the things I do are pretty close to, I mean, I don't know if doing aerial hoop is normal, but it's the stuff that I do.
Zach is a prosthetist dream patient. 99% of the patients that we see do not have the musculature, the physical capabilities, the motivation that he has.
Got it.
Something comes in and 6 months later and the thing looks brand new, that person's not using it. I haven't really provided that well of a service. Maybe it was my fault. Maybe the person's just not motivated.
Yes.
But when somebody comes in and it's all beat up and it's being used, and that's what we ultimately want.
Right.
And that's the biggest compliment that you can give to somebody like me.
This is the first time you've done anything physical with this leg?
What's up?
You've only used it for walking. You haven't done it.
No, I've used it for more things, but this is the fourth one I've had, so.
The fourth one?
Yeah.
You've broken all the others?
All of them. So I met Paul Katzev one day. He's the co-founder of Thanksgiving Coffee Company. I was working in the Verizon store.
I walked in and I was coming back from a baseball game and I had a glove under my arm, or somewhere I was holding a baseball glove. And he said, I love playing ball.
We talked about baseball, and we talked about, he looked me in the eye and said, you belong in this community. And that was when my mind shifted.
So here was an 80-year-old guy playing with a guy with one leg. It was a profound experience for me.
And the next thing you know, this guy's telling me about his life and what he's done with his business. And it got my mind to thinking about what I could do with the skills that I've accumulated over the years of being alive.
Zach inspired me to think about what the potential is for all of us and how do we overcome the difficulties in our lives.
And this is probably one of the most active times of my life. Well, one night I was running on the beach and I shattered my running leg in half and I couldn't run anymore. Then a few days later, I was at the same beach and a wave came and it took me out and it ruined my walking leg. So I was basically without movement for the first time in my life. I was walking around on crutches, and it got me to start thinking about other people who might suffer from lack of movement, people just suffering from limb loss. So we decided to create an organization to help these people that don't really have access to movement. So that became the sole motivator for the project, is to go seek these people out and provide them with movement. So I went to India because Sam knew an organization that does humanitarian services over there, Manav. So I went there and told them what we were trying to accomplish, and we established a connection. I got to see firsthand what it's like in a developing country and see the people that need help. There's a lot of individuals there, and it allowed me firsthand to get a visual of the people that we are actually going to be helping. So what's next for Mendocino Movement Project is we're going to take everything that we've put together and we're going to go out on the road. And what I'm going to be doing is running races all across the western states. 5Ks, track meets, 10Ks, whatever distance I can cover, I'm going to cover it.
Crossing the finish line, number 45.
And we're going to promote and raise the awareness of what we're doing with the Mendocino Movement Project and invite others to be a part of the movement project so we can go to India and start the project there and get some of these people movement through prosthetics. But we have to raise the funds to be able to put ourselves in a position to do that. And that's what I'm doing right now, is I'm dedicating my movement every day to doing this.
When I originally got convicted, I was 19 years old, and I got sentenced to 40 to 100 years in prison. I thought that I was going to die in prison, and I'm so happy that I was wrong.
I never stopped trying. Back in 1996, 97, the Innocence Project had my case. It was dismissed because of the fact that, say, all the evidence was destroyed. And from that, I never gave up hope. I kept pursuing, and thank God, the hair sample turned up.
I was recently sprung from prison by the Innocence Project. Over the course of many attempts to reach out to outside advocacy and having received indication that my word was being received with an open mind, I kind of lost faith.
I was wrongfully convicted of murder, locked up for 22 years. After the DNA was tested, things definitely started looking a lot brighter.
I lost a lot of family, mother, father, but one day at a time it gets better. I just try to keep a healthy state of mind, and I'm just so grateful. I'm thankful and I'm faithful about how the whole situation turned out.
One day I saw a show called 48 Hours Mystery, and I saw that they could test DNA off one piece of hair and a hat. And that's when I started writing lawyers. After doing all that time, you can really focus on what you need to focus on.
Over my 23 years incarcerated, 24 years, I lost a lot. I lost my mother, my father, a brother, a sister. It was horrible, but I survived because I told my mother on her deathbed that I was going to continue to fight this, and I promised I would not give up. But it was a long, hard-fought battle.
Rather than just give up and not keep the faith, I have to have faith in myself. So I have to say, one day I will be free. And here I am. They didn't want me to study. One guy tells me, this is jail, not Yale. Criminal justice put me here illegally, and I'm not guilty. But they say I'm guilty. That don't make me guilty, does it?
Society has not done anything wrong to me. It was the criminal justice system. See, I'm not bitter, I'm not angry, there's no vendetta, there's no animosity. My thing is just try to help where I can and to continue to live my life to the fullest.
Freedom means the right to do and say what I wanted to do, and I was denied that freedom when I went to prison.
I love just being free, not under somebody's control.
It's a new life. It's like being reborn. It's like given a chance to live a life I had been denied.
Freedom means a lot to me, you know, at this point in time, because like I said before, like, you know, it was rough. It was rough, but, you know, we got over that hurdle, though. You know, I made it.
It's so many things. I can't even wrap it up into one small answer. Like, it's the tiny details of every day. It means I can go to the grocery store, I can pay my bills, I can drive a car, I can take a bath. Like, there's so many little things that are taken from you on a day-to-day basis being incarcerated. But freedom as a whole, to me, means the ability to move on with my life without this black cloud hanging over my head.
big tower, T-R-U-M-P, and to the tower Russians came, T-R-U-M-P, with the man for here, the mic flew there, here go Americans, everyone got baby Trump had a big tower, T-R-U-M-P. Thank you for coming. I think we did a good job. You did a great job. And I think it was fun. So, thank you. Thanks, Doc.
If you guys hadn't have been here, I would have been on my own out there.
When my father was exiled, once you're disappeared, nobody knows you're still alive. But one day, very surprisingly, my father received a postcard. So it tells my father today is anniversary of one of very famous poem he published in the 1930s. So I see the expression on my father's face, how that moved him. That made a very strong impression on me. So when we started doing this project on Alcatraz, what we are concerned is how to build up a kind of communication to get people to say, hey, maybe you can also express your feeling.
Build that wall, 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 build that wall.
The Rio Grande is underappreciated, and I keep saying that because I mean it, and I want people to know what's out here.
I don't think anyone that doesn't have some connection to the region has any idea how remote that area is and how rugged and inhospitable.
I think our purpose in all this is to tell that region's story and wildlife's story.
I wish that everybody who wanted to build an actual physical wall could come and see this place first, because I think if they came and saw it and realized what the wall was going through and what it would do, it would have a profound impact on their way of thinking.
In December 2017, we're embarking on a 1,200-mile journey from El Paso to the Gulf of Mexico along the Rio Grande River using horses, mountain bikes, and canoes. The purpose is to see these landscapes before a border wall is constructed and to document those landscapes, to explore how an actual physical 30-foot wall built on the U.S. side of the river would impact wildlife dispersals, water access, private property rights, immigration, public lands, border culture.
This journey in this project is about fact-finding and figuring out what are the impacts of a proposed contiguous 1,200-mile border wall.
There's a lot of misconceptions. It's really easy to hold views about far-off issues and that not only don't affect you, but don't affect anyone that you know or have met.
Everything could be changed, everything. From the environment, from the views, from the people who live here. Everything could be changed.
That's it. Yes.
It truly is a wonderful occasion. In a few hours, we'll be celebrating the beginning of a new year. And we all are very fortunate that we have the opportunity to have the grace of the Master, to be here present with our Guru Maharaj Ji and sitting at his feet and celebrating this new year. So when we live life, life gives us very sour experiences. And those experiences somehow have influences us in how we perceive the world. If someone has done us bad, we expect that the next person we are meeting is also bad. We build our perception of this world by past experiences, not realizing that each experience is new and profound. But the moment you compare it to the experience that you've had before, you are tainting that experience with the past. That is why what life is not perceived. We are always wanting what life should be or regretting what life shouldn't be. But what is here, what is now, is never perceived. That is why we are here, we are with the Master, we are sitting in such a beautiful occasion. Understand this, do not long for something more. First understand this moment. And that is why this program is a very profound experience, because when people come here, whatever perceptions we have of this world, that oh, the world is bad, people do not respect each other, this world is filled with negativity. All those contradictions, all those walls that we have created suddenly begin to shatter. Because over here we are experiencing a different side of human life. So that is why when people come and they experience programs such as this, it breaks the perception of the negativity of the world we have. And then we realize, no, the world can be positive. And if the other person can be positive, the greatest question which nags us is, why can't I be like him? Why can't I be positive? And then slowly your perception of the world from I changes to us. And when that change happens, that is the greatest change. Someone very wise put it, he said, when you travel the world and you experience different cultures and different traditions, when you travel the world and you experience different cultures, different people, different situations, and you come back home, it's not that the circumstances in the home will change. It's not that your wife is going to change, or your family is going to change, or your problems are going to change. But when you travel and you perceive the world, when you come back home, the change is within you. You change because you have had interactions with different energies. Those energies have influenced you. And you change, and because you change, the world changes. Because the greatest change is within yourself, within your perception. If I change my perception, the world changes for me. But if I cannot change the perception, the greatest change will be happening around me and I will be oblivious to it. So that is what meditation teaches us. To understand the importance of the self, to understanding letting go of the self.
It's gonna get stuck. You gotta get the other stuff.
We're supposed to start in uniform and with dignity. The more things change, the more they say the same.
We inhale with the nose, exhale with the mouth. Try a few times. Mouth is slightly open. And exhale is free without any force, without any forceful blow. Okay? What if you don't have a safety valve? Something blows. Okay? Use your mouth as a safety valve, and when you get squeezed, let the air out. Okay? Doesn't matter where you squeezed, you have to let air out. Okay? Both partners playing two roles, separate roles. His goal is to equate his exhale with the level of pressure being incoming. The partner who is delivering pressure, try to go slow and deep with the fist, so you're practicing punches. Have your second hand on his back as a support, and your partner for you now just a pizza dough, nothing else. You try to line, for now, your fist and forearm to penetrate his body with the spear as deep as you can. Now, if I say relax on taking punches, what would you think? Forget it. You're right. If he relaxes, the fist goes much deeper than it can. Good as it should. Okay? So you're pretty much sucking the punch. That's why now, when you receive the punch, when you exhale, push my hand out. So let the air out, but at the same time, push my hand out. Not to block yourself, not to solidify.
Accept it and then return it.
No. When I start pushing, you exhale, but push my fist out. No, exhale at the same time. Don't hold the breath. So 2 steps. First, you just exhale. Second step, you exhale and push the fist out. The third step of same drill, the partner start pushing faster. Instead of pushing slowly, no. Now, still push my fist out.
Oh, me. I'm the partner.
Yes. I start pushing a little faster. Can you hear him breathing? What happened with the exhale?
Short, shallow.
Shorter. Okay? So he doesn't ask now to exhale all the way, or exhale partially. He exhaled only as much as he needed at the moment. So if I switch, no, still the same. Exhale. If I switch from pushes to punches, breathe. He now knows how to accept those punches without holding breath, without solidifying the body. His ability to receive punches goes next level. When you start punching, be mindful, because you're part of the punching belt. Okay? Try it. The punch where you have no control over your body. Okay?
Like a sand punch.
Not to that degree. Okay. This is not the traditional punch you're used to. Try to, no. Being soft, be a little boy, two different things. Okay. Be soft, but maintain the functional shape, structure. Here we go. So imagine doing push-ups, except somebody else is lifting your body. And one more thing. When I punch him as the targeter, I want to use his forearm to direct the punch. So think about the face and the forearm as a one big heavy spear, and the rest of the body just attaching to it. Okay? So that's all I'll be doing. From the top, from the bottom. No. This is fist. No, you keep it firm and tight for now. That's my idea. Okay? As the puncher, as minimum you keep your fist tight, elbow, shoulder relaxed. Okay? On the punching, he should come closer and maintain himself with the minimum tension on that punch. Why we do that? Because when the punch comes, you want to be able to punch from any angle, from any position, okay, with the equal strength. Okay? It's not the punch where you solidify your whole body and make it pushing. You make it very soft.
So if these martial arts people that have these kind of mystic powers that I've seen and felt, what if it's not some power that you develop like chi or some internal energy? What if it is a bad spirit? You know, what if it is a demon? I don't know. But see, that's the thing. Like, that's when posing the question to you guys. Like, what is it?
Public concerns about the threat of offshore oil operations includes concerns about the biological impacts of noise generated by seismic surveys and the huge environmental threat of oil spills. The subsea refinery, like any industrial operation, can be really noisy, with liquids, gases, solids all being piped and distributed under extremely high pressure, generating a continuous factory racket that can be heard for miles into the surrounding ocean. All of this industrial racket across all frequencies disrupts all marine life, from the simplest bivalves to the most elegant whales and dolphins.